There are so many things that kind of divide us in the camping community about this is better than that or that is better than this. And this is something I think that can be a bit more divisive than what it really should be. This electric chainsaw and whether or not you should use an electric chainsaw. I'll tell you about my experience with this one. This is the DUC 400 Makita chainsaw, and I'm going to say that a few things here will depend on you and your own setup. These batteries that are here, if you've got Makita tools, you'll know these batteries. These fit into so many Makita parts and tools that you'd be mad if you had Makita tools and didn't get one of these at least to try. But there are things that people do when go through their thought process when deciding as to whether to buy this sort of chainsaw or a gas-powered chainsaw or a petrol-driven chainsaw. And I think you need to consider these things. Here on the farm I've used, well, this is what is this, EFCO? I've used this one here for years and years and years, and it's a bloody good chainsaw. It's about the same size bar as what the Makita one is. I've never taken this camping, ever. Mainly because the smell of the fuel inside the car just drives me freaking nuts. You can put the fuel on the roof, but at the end of the day, the chainsaw is probably going to live inside your car, probably. You could put it on the roof, or you could put it in the camper, but it's probably going to live in the car. And the smell, I just don't like it. At the end of the day, you want to have some wood that is longer and you want to cut it shorter. That's it. How you get there is going to be up to you. This chainsaw, this Makita brushless chainsaw, may not be the solution for you if you don't have something that's going to charge these bad boys up all the time. Now, when I purchased this, I'm going to say about 18 months ago from, I get this from Total Tools, I think I got this from. They were running a special at the time. And you get, well, the pack that I got the chainsaw, the 2 batteries, and a two battery charger, and that was all in the one price. And they actually had a redemption going at the time where you would send off your details. They would send you a couple of batteries. So I've got 4 batteries for the price of the 2, which is all well and good, as long as you've got a way to charge those batteries when you're in the field, whether it's a good 12-volt system with a good inverter that's going to charge these batteries for you. You would have seen this set up all over different videos here. On the back, in my camper trailer here, it goes about 1.5 meters forward. This cage is what I'm talking about here. And each side of the cage, there's 2 like tunnels, if you like, down each side of the whole cage here. And I fill this up with firewood each time I go out. So my general practice, if I go out bush just here near my hometown, I will go out, cut up firewood on the way, fill up both sides of this here, and that will do me 2 or 3 nights. And that will, I'm cutting up wood that is between 4 inches and 6 inches in diameter, and that's all red gum wood that's out there. So it's hardwood that it's doing. And one set of batteries on this here will do the whole load. And that, like I say, will do 2 or 3 nights worth of wood, all that full up in there. So this is actually perfect for my setup. There are, however, or I shouldn't say there is, however, one significant downside with this, and that is the big stuff. The big trees up like in the high country that come across tracks, you're going to struggle to get through those with something like this. You will get through it eventually, but you might go through a couple of sets of batteries getting through it. I find that the big, this chainsaw here doesn't like the really, really big stuff. Even the things that I've cut on my farm here that is bigger than, say, 12 inches, this does struggle a bit with that. It will get through it, but not as easily as what the gas-powered chainsaw does. So for you, which one is the appropriate chainsaw to get, the gas-powered one or the electric-powered one? It's going to be dependent on your setup. If you've already got a gas-powered chainsaw, use your gas-powered chainsaw. And just as long as you can put up with the smell or be strategic in where you store your fuel and store your chainsaw, good on you. It's going to work just fine for you. In the case of the electric one, you need to have a way to charge those batteries if you're going to be out for an extended period. So if I'm out for a week or longer, I'm taking that battery charger with me. If I'm going somewhere where there's a good chance of branches and trees being across a track, I'm going to take that battery charger with me. I've got an inverter in here. It's only in the car, in the cruiser. I've got a 1,000 watt Renogy inverter, and that does fine for charging these batteries. So if you've got a good setup that can maintain the power, electric chainsaw I think is the way to go. They're lighter, there's no fuel, you've just got to carry some oil, they're toolless, maybe take a sharpener with you. I've sharpened this. Keep in mind I use this chainsaw to cut hardwood. I've sharpened the chain twice in 18 months. It works just fine. It holds the blade pretty bloody good. You can go forever and ever and carry one of these things with you in your vehicle and you may never need it. And that's a bloody good trip if you don't need a chainsaw to cut your way through different tracks. I say 90% of the stuff that I do, I don't need to do any of that. This is primarily for firewood everywhere I go. It's just so lightweight and it cuts the same amount as the gas-powered chainsaw, which I absolutely need two hands to hold up and get started. When we look at the two types of chainsaws overall, the electric ones are generally cheaper when you look at the top tier of the chainsaws. So Makita is a bloody good brand of electric chainsaws, and say still, if we combine if we compared the pair, I think we're going to find that the electric ones are going to be a bit cheaper. Second is they are cleaner. They are so much cleaner than a gas-powered chainsaw. There is oil and fuel going everywhere with gas-powered ones versus the electric ones. You've just got a little bit of bar oil that might spin on out. And the weight of an electric chainsaw versus a gas-powered chainsaw is chalk and cheese. That electric one, you could certainly sit there and just swing it with one hand if you wanted to. Gas-powered one of the same caliber, the same bar, there's no way I could do that all day. And keep in mind, this is just for me. And if you're a regular viewer here, you'll know that my main type of camping is on my own. If you're in a group of people and you're doing a longer trip, say there's like 4 or 5 cars, I would say carry 1 or 2 chainsaws in that whole group and get someone else to carry some fuel for those chainsaws. That's how I would do it. Even with the electric one here, if I had a big group like that, I would absolutely be sharing that smell load across the vehicles, and having a backup in that group, I would just absolutely be going with the gas. But on my own, when time isn't a thing and I'm just out there plodding along doing what I want to do, I think the electric is the way to go. What do you guys think? Anyway, see you next week.